In the last video, we were talking about the Stockdale paradox, which was this idea of being able to acknowledge the brutal facts of your situation, not just ignore reality, understand and acknowledge the difficulties that we're in, but then go a step further and go, okay, but I've no doubt I will be able to get through this. As we said, there's ways that you can get through it. And what we're going to talk about in this video is perspective. And I'm going to tell you a little about a really cute psychology experiment that was done that some of you might know. It's called the marshmallow experiment. And what it is that some researchers got some kiddies together, like 5-6-year-old kids, and they put them in a room, and they'd say to the child, here's a marshmallow, you're welcome to eat it, but I'm going to go away for 15 minutes, and when I come back, if you haven't eaten this marshmallow, you can get another one, so you'll have 2, and you can eat those. And then they videoed these kids, and it's really cute footage of this willpower and discipline not to eat these marshmallows. Some of the kids maybe last 30 seconds only, some of them like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, but then they eat the marshmallow. There's a cute little girl that like licked the marshmallow over and put it down, and others that, you know, kind of take a small little bite and then leave it there. So what they found eventually was that 2 out of 3 children would eat this marshmallow, couldn't wait. But like 1 out of 3 could wait. And then they did these follow-up studies 5, 10, 15 years later, and interestingly, they found quite a big difference between the kids that had waited or those that had eaten the marshmallow. And they found those that had waited were often doing a lot better, had good grades at school, had good relationships, just in general were kind of flourishing, whereas a large proportion of the children that had eaten the marshmallow were not doing as well. And so the conclusion was we need some self-discipline. That's one of the factors for success, self-discipline, or this ability to delay gratification, doing something now that's tough for something later on. And for sure we need some self-discipline. There might be waking up at a particular time, keeping in a routine, doing some training. They're things that we don't feel like doing, but we do it anyway. However, there's a slightly different element to this research that no one often speaks about. What the researchers did is, in a second time, was when they gave the child the marshmallow, they said to them, I want you to think about this marshmallow differently. Maybe imagine it's a white fluffy cloud, or imagine a picture frame around it that it's actually not a marshmallow, it's a photo of a marshmallow. Then what they found was that 2 out of 3 children could now resist. They didn't eat the marshmallow, it kind of flipped around the stats. And what they realized was that when you could teach the children to think differently, to have a slightly different perspective on the situation, it helped them to be more disciplined to do certain things that they wanted to do. And so while we do need discipline, we also have to be really careful about how we're thinking about a situation, what perspective we have on it. And as I said to you last time, I'm not just saying just be positive about everything when it's really tough, but we have to be careful what perspective we have, and maybe a useful perspective. And one of the perspectives that I want you to think about is that emotions are actually messengers, and to use this time to really see what message are your emotions sending you. Which I know might sound a bit strange, but I'll explain now. There's a lot of good that can come out of times like this. They often teach you about yourself, about what you value, about how you manage success, how you manage failure, how you manage uncertainty. So there's a huge opportunity for self-development during this time. And when we feel something, let's say it's frustration, I think a lot of people are feeling super frustrated at the moment. If I'm feeling frustration, to be able to say, okay, well, what does this indicate? What message is it sending me? I'm frustrated that I can't train. So what does that point to? Well, maybe you say to yourself, well, actually training is a really important part of who I am because I'm an athlete and that's what I do, I train. And why? Maybe because sport is important to me, or physical exercise is important to me. Or maybe it's teamwork. I enjoy being around a team. I enjoy contributing to a team. Whatever it might be, but to take that emotion and say, what message is it sending me? What value is it pointing to? Because it's incredibly useful to know what are our values, and then we know how to manage things. So rather than think I just don't want to feel this, whether it's irritability, frustration, demotivation, just say what message is this emotion sending and what value does it point to? Because those values, I'll say it again, when we know our values, it's so much easier to build our life around it. So the perspective on this time is, yes, it's bad, but if we think about it slightly differently, there's actually quite a lot that we can gain in terms of personal development from moments like this.